Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Tinmans School Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. And today, I figured I'd get on here and rank my favorite movie cars. And I picked out 10 of them. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road in the bag, shall we? Okay, the number 10 is the 68 Dodge Charger that you see in the movie Blade with Wesley Snipes. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a cool looking car. That's why I even got it on my list here. But it just still looks like a standard Dodge Charger because you can get them black in the factory. But it does look like that Blade and Whistler did a lot of performance enhancements on this vehicle, such as one of these cowl induction hoods. But I really dig this car. And just seeing Wesley Snipes driving around in the Blade movies looked like a fun automobile to drive. I hated that it got wrecked in Blade Trinity, the third movie. And then my ninth place spot is Herbie, the Love Bug. I remember watching Herbie Fully Loaded first with Lindsay Lohan, and then I found out that there was 4 other movies that came before that movie. It was really interesting. And plus, in the very first movie, The Love Bug, you get to see how the race car driver got him because it kept on honking his horn at him to try to get his attention. But the car dealer didn't want to sell him until he got him, and his mechanic friend put all the numbers and racing stripes on it. I really ain't not a fan of Volkswagen Beetles, but every time I see one of them cars, I think of Herbie right here. It was always a funny car to look at on the screen. Coming in at number 8 is the 1974 Dodge Monaco Bluesmobile. I know it's just a cop car that Elwood Blues picked up at a government auction, right? And it was funny seeing his brother get out of prison and get back into a cop car. He said, I get out of prison and I had to ride in a cop car. Where's the Cadillac, the Bluesmobile? And he said he traded it for a microphone. I mean, I would be mad too if you trade a car for something small like that. But this car has become iconic because of this movie. I just hated that the Blues Brothers ran it through its paces, and then towards the end of the movie, it just fell apart. And in the sequel, Elwood had to get a Ford police car as a new Bluesmobile. I hate to be picky, even though the Ford cop car in the second movie might have been more reliable. This one is always going to be a classic. Okay, coming in at number 7 is the Plymouth Fury, also known as Christine. I had to put a horror movie car on this list because there ain't nothing that can compare to Christine unless you talk about that Lincoln Continental that was modified for the movie The Car. That's as close as you're going to get to a demonic car movie. But you have Christine, which is a beautiful red Plymouth Fury automobile. And we don't even know how in the world that car came alive to begin with. The guy that sold Christine to that young boy with the glasses pretty much said it was probably cursed by the time it left the factory. I mean, it had to because it killed that guy smoking in her. It's got a personality similar to Herbie, but Herbie's more funnier and don't want to hurt people. It's more protective, while Christine is totally the opposite. It will hurt and murder people who attack it and the owner of her. I heard they're making another Christine movie, but I don't know when that's ever going to come out. But I can't wait to see this old car back in action again. Okay, at number 6 is one of the coolest spy gadgets in movie history. And that's the Aston Martin DB5, driven by Sean Connery's James Bond. And I believe Pierce Brosnan drove it once in his first movie, Golden, but then it was put away until Daniel Craig started driving it in Skyfall. But man, I just loved it when I saw that scene where Q showed it off to James Bond for the first time, and his eyes glowed with excitement when he said ejector seat. I mean, everybody wants to have a James Bond car, right? But to be honest with you, I probably might be too tall for that vehicle. So let's get on to my number 5 pick. And that is the Echto 159 Cadillac ambulance from Ghostbusters. This one is actually a little bit more roomier for me because I sat in one that was in the Hollywood Stars of Cars Museum in Gatlinburg. They had one of these cars on the top floor, and they let you take pictures in the cars. So I told them I wanted to take pictures in the Ecto 1, and she opened up the door. I sat in that thing, and I said, oh, yeah, this is comfortable. But it's just cool. I love these old, longer cars, especially old hearses and ambulances. I know that's weird to say, but hey, if I had a chance to own a hearse or old ambulance like this body style, I would take it because that would be a fun joyride for sure. Okay, at number 4, I have the Bandit Trans Am from the Smokey and the Bandit 1 movie. This one is another vehicle that is just so iconic. I wouldn't mind owning one, but I can tell you right now, I can't fit in one of these cars because, again, over at the Hollywood Stars of Cars Museum in Gatlinburg, they had this car in there too, and that was one of the cars that I wanted to take a picture in. So my dad got in the driver's seat, but I got in the passenger seat. And let me tell you what, I couldn't slide the seat back, and my knees looked like they were just hitting the dash. So if I got one of these cars, I'm definitely going to have to get somebody to make some modifications to the seat rail system so I can slide it back a little bit further. But also, look at that screaming chicken on here. That screams a classic car in my book. But let's go to number 3, because I think that car is way cooler than this one. And that's the DeLorean DMC-12 Time Machine from Back to the Future. I mean, come on. Everybody wants to time travel, right? And seeing Back to the Future really gets you in that hype. And who doesn't want to travel in time with something like this? I mean, come on, that's a classic car. Even though a lot of them weren't made and they had troubles with the car itself in the 80s, the Back to the Future franchise just made the car really go up in value, in my opinion. And now there's a lot of people looking for these cars. And I heard that a guy that's 6'4" can sit in it, but I doubt I can get my whole 6'6" body in there without the door hitting me in the head. But that's really a cool car. And I still can't believe to this day that they said originally the time machine was going to be a refrigerator. I'm like, really? Until somebody said, oh, it's got to be mobile. So they said, well, why not build a time machine into a car? And boom, the DeLorean time machine was born. I was like, thank you, because the refrigerator time machines sounded stupid. But yeah, that would be a cool car to sit in, that's for sure. I would like to touch all the buttons. And speaking of pushing buttons, my number 2 pick is the 82 Trans Am known as KITT from Knight Rider. I mean, come on. It was a cool car. Because I know if you're a fan of the show, you want to press like the turbo boost button and all the other stuff in there. But anyway, let's get to my number 1 pick, and this will be a blast from the past. And that's the Batmobile. And I'm not talking any Batmobile. I'm talking about Tim Burton's 1989 and Batman Returns Batmobile. The production designer Anton Furst is a genius because I really loved how he designed this car based off of like land speed record holding vehicles, hence the turbine thing in the front, mixed with cars from like the 40s and 50s all merged together. And I definitely love the back fins. They look sculpted instead of machine cut. This is one of them cars that really gets me because who doesn't want a Batmobile to drive around in, right? Well, I like the other ones that are in the other films, but this one beats them by far because it's more like a street cruising vehicle instead of like a big military-looking tank like the Tumbler or the BVS Batmobiles. And it don't look too over-the-top fancy like the Schumacher Forever and Batman and Robin Batmobiles. This is truly a magnificent piece of automotive art. Now let me show you some honorable mentions that did not quite make the list. First honorable mention is the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard. Second honorable mention is the A-Team van. Third honorable mention is the Lotus Espirit that Roger Moore drove as James Bond. My fourth honorable mention is the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. And finally, my last honorable mention is the 1967 Pontiac GTO driven by Vin Diesel and Triple X. Well, okay, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 movie and TV cars list, and also my honorable mentions that did not quite make the list. But let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite movie TV car, and how would you rank them. And if you have a particular car that I did not mention that was in a hit movie or TV show, let me know down in the comments as well about that one. But anyway, this has been another successful installment of the Tin Man's Quarter channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and I said that's a wrap. Have a nice day, y'all.